Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke. Welcome back to Hiveswap Friendship. Well, yeah, but FriendSim, not friendship. We're trying to get friendship. In the last episode, we got to meet this other guy from Volume 2. Now we're going to handle this lady, who, I believe it's supposed to look like she's covered in paint, but I feel like she's probably covered in blood. Let's find out. Blah, 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 blah. Friendship! Blah, 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 blah. Amicia Erdine. She's a blue blood. Lo, what light through yonder weirdly organic architecture breaks? A small figure approaches. Oh my gosh! You are so far you've swallowed quite a few insults in regards to your looks and intelligence level. You aren't really the type to let the shallow opinions of others get you down, but it's been kind of a rough day, you brace yourself. Cute! Oh! She gives you a sweet, sincere smile. I've never seen anything like you! It's given me all sorts of new ideas. Boy, do you hope some of those ideas are about friendship! Now you've got a taste of it, you're hungry for more. You take a stumbling step forward and your ribs remind you that, although the potential of camaraderie is enough to improve your mental health, it can't cure acute injuries. Oh, you don't look so good. Come inside! I've been looking for new contributors. Contributors? Does she mean friendship contributors? Nah, that's dumb. Maybe she wants to run some sort of alien newspaper and she wants you on staff. She looks a little young for that, but what the heck do you know about alien management hierarchy? You follow her to a nearby building, and now that you're looking up from your ravenous hunt for companionship, you notice that you've wandered to kind of an upscale part of town. There's a lot less garbage and people collapse in the street. You see one of those spiky robot things, but it's watching a window instead of shooting a laser at a group of children. If that's not high class, you don't know what is. Before you can follow her inside, she turns around into the threshold, blocking your way. Real quick, you don't happen to be an artist, do you? Artistry? Well, as a matter of fact... No, I've never had much of a knack for it. Oh, good! Friendships between artists can be so fraught. Much better to just keep things between artists and art appreciators. That way no one can get jealous. The girl's smile whitens even further and you feel an unbelievable rush of joy. Have you finally found someone who isn't a total fucking maniac? And she brought up friendship without you having to mention it at all. It puts a spring in your step, or as much of a spring as possible with a broken arm and a misaligned torso. Amicia leads you. Did she ever actually say what her name was? Amicia leads you into an elevator with buttons labeled in spiky letters that make absolutely no sense to you. You realize that probably nothing is ever going to make sense to you again. That's okay, your hierarchy of needs has adjusted recently. Your new friend, you are jumping the gun with this descriptor, but you're feeling seriously good about this encounter, stands in the corner of the elevator wringing her claws. Claws? I wish I'd known I was going to have company. I would have cleaned up a little. It's been a while since I've met anyone new. You assure her that whatever disaster her house is, it can't be any worse than some other places you've seen here. Although you kind of get what she means. She's wearing an artist smock that's covered in splashes of paint that's not paint! Actually, it doesn't really look like paint, but it couldn't be anything else, could it? It's every color of the rainbow! It's not paint! The elevator's door slides open and you step into a space that you are relieved to find is totally recognizable. A table overflows with messy palettes and brushes, cloudy jars of water and sponges! Nah! Several easels stand between the windows to catch the light of the two moons. Huh. And a number of canvases lean against the wall, turned so you can't see what's on them. First things first! Amicia brings you over to a wall screen that looks way more high-tech than anything you have in your now defunct spaceship, tapping away at a series of unreadable symbols. She then indicates you should take off your sling. Here! Go ahead and stick it in there! She seems to want you to put your arm into a large hole in the wall, which you do, because you're sure your new friend has your best interest at heart. The hole shrinks down like a blood pressure cuff, sending bolts of agony through you. You want to yank your arm back out, but you don't. Even if it's broken, you still like having it attached to you. Instead, you shout a lot and thrash your other limbs around. Calm down, you big wriggler. It's like you've never seen a medicalizer before. If you don't stop moving, it won't work. Tears spill down your cheeks, but you force yourself still. You'll bear the pain. You'll do it for your friend. She's looking at you hopefully, she's so delicate and pretty, almost angelic. You look at her face and tell yourself it's all going to be okay. Finally, the hole releases you when you pull your arm back, only to find it completely healed. You can move your fingers. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Hey, things are looking up. Finally, somebody actually fucking helped. See? I told you. This is great! You're overwhelmed with the urge to celebrate. Let's be excited. You try to resist the urge to celebrate. You fail to resist the urge. You take Amicia by her tiny hands and twirl her around the studio, or try to. You forgot about your busted ribs. You sure are doing that a lot. You let go of Amicia and go careening into one of the tables, thankfully not the one covered in art supplies. You hit the corner and go down on your already incredibly sore ass. This is what you get for acting like a huge fucking tool in front of your new friend. Are you okay? Was that some sort of ritualistic rite of healing I've never heard of before? You struggle against the floor. Amicia leans down and picks you up in a bridal carry. Despite the fact that she's about half your size, it makes your ribs hurt, but what doesn't nowadays? Amicia lays you down on a weird lumpy couch. Are you sure you're okay? You look a little... She trails off to nothing. She's looking at your left arm, which you have draped over yourself awkwardly to sort of try to hold your torso together. That color! At first she thinks you mean the color of your skin, which is different than her light gray. Then you think she means the truly fantastic buffet of bruises you got going on. But then you realize that in your prancing idiocy you've managed to scrape up the inside of your arm. Blood oozes sluggishly from the wound. Amicia dredges a finger through it. You're half expecting her to put it in her mouth and for this to become a whole cannibal situation. Well, since you aren't the same species, it wouldn't really be cannibalism, but still, no thanks. Instead, Amicia just holds her finger up, the drop of blood trembling on the tip. This color? I've never seen anything like it! She dashes off to one of her tables, pulling a sketchbook and dragging her finger down it. Your blood paints a rusty line down the center. She lets out a little squeak of excitement. This is amazing! What, red? Not red! There's a million dirty little rusties swarming around this, all over this city. I'm drowning in red. This is crimson! It's incredible! You must be some sort of mutant! You're really lucky I found you instead of one of the drones. Lucky? You? Yes, very lucky. The luckiest. Though your arm is healed and you're out of whatever doubtlessly weird weather happens on this planet, maybe Amicia's right. Maybe you are lucky. You close your eyes and try to breathe. Zen yourself out. Really center yourself in your own body and all that garbage. Oh! Then you open your eyes and wow, you sure aren't centered anymore. In fact, you roll completely to the left as you try to get away from Amicia, who was back and standing over you with a gigantic axe. Watch out! Amicia grabs you, drags you onto the couch and plants her hand on your solar nexus, effectively pinning you down. You'll hurt yourself if you keep flopping around like a beach blubber beast. You want to be friends, don't you? You want to help me with my artistic aspirations, right? You get the feeling that she might just be trying to manipulate you? Just the tiniest little suspicion. It's possible Amicia has recognized your intense craving for companionship and is trying to exploit it. You don't like being suspicious of a new friend, but that is a pretty big axe. I don't know what's got you so worried. I just want to show you my axe. Oh, of course. Makes sense. It is a really nice axe. You hold your hand out for it, but of course it's too heavy for you, and your hands are full of sweat, or all sweaty, and you fumble it. Fumble the really sharp weapon. Amicia tries to catch it before it's too late, and somehow in all the wriggly struggle, you end up getting cut, like, very cut, across both your wrists. In fact, you don't think she could have aimed even better if she had been trying. Oh! Oh dear. Hard agree. Don't struggle. You only hurt yourself more, silly. You don't want that, do you? No, you definitely don't want that. Not after what a Butterfingers you've proven to be. Amicia gets up to put the axe down, and you gotta lose track of her for a little while. You're bleeding all over her couch, and everything around you starts to go shiny and unreal. She comes back with a couple of little jars that she uses to catch your blood. That's a good idea. You sure are making a mess. You wonder if they're special, like specifically blood jars? They look like jam jars. Alien Jam. Alien Jam, Space Jam. God, you love that movie. It's been so long since you've seen it. It has been a long time since I've seen Space Jam. Definitely the best PG movie about basketball. Way better than that one with the dog and the clown. Do they even have basketball here? You ask Amicia. She just shushes you and brushes your hair back off your forehead. Hair? She keeps smiling and saying comforting things. God, she's such a good friend. Before too long, you do what it's honestly a goddamn shock you haven't done before now. You pass out. When you come to, you're propped up against the wall in a weird way that you wouldn't love even if you were an invalid, and both your arms jammed into a hole in the wall. The med hole, the glory hole of well-being, the magic sphincter! You grunt and pull your arms back out. They're healed! The cuts on your wrists are just two faded pink lines. You take a step away from the wall and immediately hit the ground. You may not be actively dying anymore, but you did just lose like half the blood in your body. Gosh, you're tired. A little giggle makes you turn around, or roll over since you're still on the floor and probably not getting up anytime soon. It's fine. You've met worse floors in your life. Amicia is sitting on at one of her easels, her hair pulled back beneath a scarf and little round glasses perched on her nose. A jar of your blood sits next to her, and as you watch, she dips her brush in. I'm glad you're awake. I was a little worried I'd actually killed you back there. She laughs, and you laugh along with her. It's very funny. Actually, everything is funny right now. It's probably the blood loss. You ask her what she's painting. You, of course. You inspired me. Well, now it just looks like a bunch of red squiggles and some lines, but she just got started. She's warming up. She sits there on her stool, looking at her palette and chewing on her lip thoughtfully. She looks somewhat nervous. Actually, I want to show you something. Something I've never shown anyone else. She leaps up from her stool and crosses the studio. You roll to your other side to keep her in your line of sight. You hope she isn't getting another Space Jam jar. She starts turning around the canvas one by one. They're all blank except for one, which has a little... Wait, no, that's just a shadow. Every single one of them is blank. You aren't sure you understand. You ask her if these are all just new canvases that she has not gotten the chance to paint on yet. Amicia sighs. No, I've had them forever. I'm just... not a real painter. There, I said it. She buries her face in her hands, talking from between her fingers. I'm really good at all the other parts, the materials in the studio. I even make my own paints. It's blood, it's not paint. I just can never do the actual sitting down and doing art part. She looks so despondent. You wish you could do something, but you don't really know that much about art, and you probably can't stand up yet. You tell her that she looks like she's moving in the right direction, at least. You don't even have a studio or any brushes or stuff like that. Of course, you have no aspirations of being a painter, but you leave that part out. That's just it! I feel inspired for the first time ever! I think it has to be your messed up, disgusting mutant blood. There's really no other explanation. She takes a knee beside you, picking up one of your lit hands with hers. They're cold, like she's been pressing them to a glass window in winter. Usually I just finish off my contributors quickly. I don't have time to deal with a bunch of injured lowbloods moaning around my studio. But I could just use your blood all at once. You're far too special for that. You gaze at Amicia. A mist has descended over your vision, and it isn't even the mist of imminent death. I have to keep this precious blood safe. I think you might be my muse. You will never escape. Okay, there's a couple of choices I gotta go back and make. Let's see. Volume 2. Blah 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 blah. Friendship! Blah 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 blah. Her. Fast forward! Same thing. Fast forward! Be chill about it. You thank Amicia profusely, but you manage to keep it to the strictly verbal sort. Medicalizers are great! This part of the city is great. You really need to get more rich friends. You tell her this, throwing in a compliment of her studio while you're at it. See, this friendship stuff is easy. I'm glad you feel that way. You're obviously really strange and under-socialized, but you don't seem to be a complete cultural idiot. Plus, I think it's really endearing how helpless and trusting you are. You laugh, slightly unnerved. You want to take that as a compliment, but after a recent encounter with another girl in blue, well, it all ended up okay. Amicia is so nice and friendly, and she keeps calling you cute, which you think is pretty generous of her, considering what a disgusting mess you are at this point. Wait, so does that mean that all of these are happening, like, in conjunction with each other? I thought that it was pick one and it happens and then it doesn't, but it sounds like they all happen. Which now makes me wonder if I was supposed to do this before or after the other guy. Shit. And Amicia is so nice and friendly, and she keeps calling you cute, which you think is pretty generous of her, considering what a disgusting mess you are at this point. Speaking of low bloods, what's your blood color? Just out of curiosity. Blood color? You aren't really sure what she's talking about, but... red? You tell her it looks red. She looks a little disappointed. I got plenty of burgundy. Oh well, good thing I have a delivery coming soon. Hey, do you think you could help me set up a few things before they get here? They? Visitors as in plural? As in multiple potential friends? Oh hell yes. You are all over that, especially considering your newly healed arm. You were anxious to display the simple motor functions you can perform. Amicia gives you another radiant smile. You live for those smiles, man. They're just so full of the glowing nectar of bromance. Perfect! Let's do this! Work always goes faster with two pairs of hands after all. Yes, absolutely it does, and even if by that she seems to mean her hands while pointing while she tells you where to put things, you're totally fine with that. Your ribs are still kind of killing you, but you swallow down the pain. You're getting pretty good at that. Glad you can't stick your whole torso into that magical science fiction hole in the wall. Well, maybe you could, but not right now. Right now you've got a friend to help. Amicia instructs you to clear all the furniture to the edges of the room and lay down on a big purple tarp. Apparently tarps aren't blue on this planet. Amicia answers her phone and then buzzes open the apartment door. She runs over to the elevator with a squeal of delight. They're here! Sorry I'm getting so giggly about this. It's just been a while since I've had any new paints. Wait, paints? That's what's coming? Now that you think about it, there is something pretty crucial missing from this whole artist aesthetic that she's got going on here. There aren't any paints. No tubes dribbling color or pots with their tops left partially unscrewed. There aren't even any pencils. The elevator door opens and two trolls come in. They have pretty similar shaped horns and are almost the exact same height. Brothers? The trolls have brothers? From the uniform and the douchey, swaggering way they walk, you get the idea that there's some sort of law enforcement. That and the third troll in handcuffs they're dragging between them. Thank you guys! You always bring me the best materials. They don't say anything, they just bring the third troll to the center of the tarp and force them into a kneeling position. Then they bow to Amicia and leave the way they came. This doesn't look great. Even before Amicia runs out of the room and comes back with an axe the size of her whole body, you're not loving this. The troll on the tarp trembles and bites back a sob, but they don't say anything or try to run. She isn't really going to do what it looks like, is she? You can't bring yourself to believe that this cute little girl alien is going to straight up axe murder a dude right in front of you, presumably to finger paint with their blood. You stammer something to this effect. Amicia laughs. Well, I don't use my fingers. I'm not a fucking animal. She considers you for a few moments, tapping a claw against her mouth. I know! You can help me! I only ever let one other person help me with my work, and she's out of town right now. But you and I have a connection. You feel it too, right? You do. God, you do. You've been feeling it so much lately for everyone you meet. You thought you may maybe come across someone who would readily accept your platonic longings without putting you through the ringer first? You do want to help me, don't you? You do. You want that more than anything. Amicia looks at you solemnly. Why don't you do the honors? She holds out her axe. I wouldn't offer this to just anyone, but I can tell how special you are. You're trembling. The troll on the tarp is also trembling, but unlike you, they seem to have accepted their fate. Slowly, inevitably, you hold out your hand for the axe. Amicia gives it to you with a smile. God damn it! Forgot about your broken ribs and that you're a human and can't just pick up a gigantic fucking axis with one hand. You drop it and it bounces away from you like way more than you think an axe should probably bounce. You look up at Amicia from where you are doubled over with pain and shame. She laughs and scampers over to retrieve the axe, once again swinging it without any sign of strain. She doesn't even have any visible muscles. What is this girl made out of? How silly of me. You seem to be so culturally advanced that for a second I forgot about your natural inferiority. Here, I'll give you a second chance. You nod. Yes, please. A second chance that does not include committing gruesome murder. Usually I just use chains, but I've got a better idea. Oh God. You get what she wants you to do. You hesitate and Amicia's smile gets even sweeter, sweet like poison. Oh? You don't want to help me? The tarp crinkles underneath you as you kneel. You grasp the troll's shoulders and mumble an apology. They continue to say nothing. Amicia is sharpening her axe, which already looks pretty damn sharp. Hold on tight! You try. You really do. The problem is, you try to hold on tight, but at the same time you try to drag the troll out of the way, some buried instinct to try to preserve life rising up from inside you. You're weak and injured though, so all you do is end up doing is just flopping both of you a little to the side. Instead of coming down on the neck in a clean slice, Amicia's axe glances off the troll's collarbone, mortally wounding them instead of killing them outright. And now you know why they have not been begging for their life. They don't have a tongue. So they can't beg, but they sure can yell, and thrash, and bleed olive green alien blood all over you in the tarp. God, there's so much blood. It's just spurting everywhere. Jesus Christ, you're such an idiot. Why couldn't you just commit? Now you're covered in dying alien, and so is everything else. Amicia, the work table, and most direly the canvas is leaning against the wall. Amicia takes one look at them and lets out a wail of rage. I can't believe this! I let you into my hive, into my life! I was planning to let you into my pusher! What does that mean? I thought you were a refined sophisticate, but now you see you're just a Philistine! She gives you a shove towards the elevator. Your ribs are screaming and so is the bleeding troll. You try to babble an explanation. Forget it! I don't want to hear your excuses. Chahut was right. If you want someone killed right, you have to kill them yourselves. You ride the elevator back down, kneeling in a pool of blood and failure. Terrible at murder. Dang. Okay, that's one more choice. So there's one more choice we gotta check out. Might lead to more choices. Volume 2. Friendship! Boop. Fast forward! So yeah, it isn't like your whole deal, but you've been known to dabble. Oh, I see how it is. Well, you aren't gonna snake road any trade secrets out of me. Goodbye! Dang. You completely blew it. Well, that about does it for this episode. There were a lot more choices in that one than the other ones, and also, she's slightly less terrible than everybody else so far. Between what happened with Diamond, what happened with Diamond, and also the two streamer people. Like, I mean, I guess the last episode where the good ending was just getting high with him, and the bad ending was him freaking out and writing bad letters about you. That wasn't as bad, whereas this one, it's like, hey, she healed your arm, but then she found out what color your blood was, and then you became, like, an art slave. So, I guess those two were less terrible than the last two. And it'll be interesting to see what the next two are. But in any case, this has been Anachi Sasuke. This is episode 4 of Let's Play the Hiveswap FriendSim. Look at it wiggle. And in the next one, we'll get 2 more trolls, probably. I don't know when it'll happen, but if this one is any indication, we'll be getting it next Friday. Maybe. I don't know. So, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.